everyone? Welcome back to the Schmooze. We put on our Instagram story yesterday, what do you want to schmooze about? Thank you, Benji K, for submitting a fantastic question. Daniel, do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, it's asking about the conflict between science and religion.
Ah, right. I should have known that because it's on the banner right above us. So the conflict between science and religion, this is one of my favorite things I like to teach about. There's a book called Genesis and the Big Bang by Professor Gerald Schroeder. I've met him many times in person, been to many of his 10, 20 times, like in his classes in Jerusalem. You can check them out you can watch a bunch of his stuff on YouTube. He's fantastic, a PhD professor from MIT. And he actually talks about how there is no conflict between science and religion. Rabbi Sachs has a bunch of this. And one of the main pieces that I think that people kind of put out there when they say, like, oh, there's a conflict between science and religion is the age of the universe, right? According to Jewish approach, the age of the universe is, almost 6,000 years old. And according to like all science, it's about 15 billion years old. And you got to watch his stuff. I mean, I can't do it justice right here in a few minutes that we have. But he explains that the Big Bang, right? When the Big Bang has been the best thing for Judaism ever. Well, maybe not the best thing. Shabbos is the best thing. But bless you and me and all the people and everyone else too, right? The Big Bang was so great because finally the modern world caught up and said, like, oh yeah, the universe actually did have a beginning. Before the Big Bang theory, that was not the mainstream approach. It wasn't the mainstream to say like the universe had a beginning, because that's very close to creationism, very close to saying that something created the universe. Right. And that's, of course, what Judaism and other religions have been saying forever. And so he said when the Big Bang happened, right, the entire universe was expanding outwards. And when the universe, when any matter, when anything physical is moving at a very, very rapid speed, time gets funky, right? Time gets weird. If you've ever read, I feel like we should have like a cool funky beat happening right now. It's probably not going to happen, right? It's not going to. No,
we're not going to do that.
Speak to our editor. Right, like if you ever read any science fiction books or watch any science fiction movies, when they go at light speed, a year passes for them, but like 100 years passes on Earth. You know what I'm talking about? And they come back and all their friends are dead because 100 years has passed. But even though 1 year only passed for them, you look confused. You know what I'm talking about? Like this is
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you really not know what I'm talking about? Because if you don't know,
I understand the concept.
Well, you'll see where I'm going. Okay, hold on. Give me a moment.
Okay.
So when you're moving very quickly, time gets weird. So when the Big Bang exploded, and the universe is exploding very, very quickly, time was not the same as time it is now. So if you are trusting the math, for any of the math geeks out there like me, the math here is insane. It's a beautiful thing. If you don't appreciate math, you're gonna think I'm weird. If you don't appreciate math, you might think I'm weird too. But the math here is incredible. Check out it. We'll put the link. Daniel, can we put the link?
Yeah, we'll put the link.
We'll put the link. If you calculate by the speed, the velocity of which the universe was expanding from the Big Bang for the first 5.5 days, if you were standing if you were alive then and you were living through the Big Bang, 5.5 days would have elapsed for you. But looking back in time, again, going with that science fiction, going at light speed, looking backwards in time, it comes out to exactly 15 billion years.
Whoa.
So which is it? Is the universe 6,000 years old, or is it 15 billion years old? The answer, classic Judaism, is both.
Why not both? Okay. I've heard John Schroeder speak about his book and I'm still like processing from his talk years ago. You know, there's like this is not my area.
I'm going to have to do it 10 times. That's why.
I'm going to take us out of the science for a second. I think one of the things when we talk about the conflicts of religion, and we'll focus on Judaism for all intents and purposes, and science, I don't think the beauty of
you talk.
Yeah. The beauty of what we do is very much that we don't believe there's a conflict. Like whereas religions of the past, certainly in the medieval ages, you saw this a lot during Enlightenment, that religion was very closed off to advances going on in the world, and just historically said like this isn't what we're about, And I think what we talk about in Judaism is that this idea of ein od milvado, that there is no one else, nothing else aside from God, aside from the Almighty. So we believe like God, just like God created the world, he created the science of the world. He created, all of these opportunities for us to have scientific breakthroughs. And this was a big thing. I mean, I see in Israel every day, if you read the paper, all the amazing things, all the scientific breakthroughs coming out of Israel. And I think it just brings me back to Sigmund Freud, that just like very simply, he said, you'll always see Jews innovating and breaking the barrier and continuing to make these amazing scientific breakthroughs because they believe in God, not in spite of their belief in God. And that's really where we come from, that because we have a relationship with this abstract entity that we can't touch tangibly and we can't prove, so to speak, that God is here, we can always be pushing the boundary on science and every other front, because we have that relationship with God. Once you believe in God, nobody on earth can tell you something's not possible. Nobody on earth can tell you you're doing something wrong. And that's what, and in Freud's words, that's what makes us successful.
I love it. Benji K, I hope we have answered your question. Feel free to follow up with further questions, and to everyone, to all of our audience out there, thank you for submitting your questions. We'll keep getting to them. I think it's great that we live in that science is very much God's art. We live in a beautiful, I find beauty, and one can find beauty in the intricacies of the world and how everything fits perfectly and everything works in this amazingly well-oiled machine called Earth. Like, it's a beautiful thing, and that's and God made that. There's zero conflict, I think, between science and religion. It's been great schmoozing with you.
Great schmoozing with you. Thank you to Ruach HaNegev for sponsoring. Go check out their website, ruachhanegev.org, and we will see you next week.